Oh, what's going on, everybody? We are the Cinefanatics. My name is Chris Adams.
And I'm Robert Adams.
And we're back with another The Falcon and the Winter Soldier breakdown and review for you guys. Otherwise,
we've only got 2 more episodes left after this.
Otherwise, commonly known on this channel as Fat Wuss.
The Fat Wuss!
Now, what is it you were saying? We have 2 more episodes?
We have 2 more episodes after the one that we just watched.
Oh, man, I'm sad.
Sorry to start this off on a downer.
I haven't felt this sadness since the end of WandaVision a few weeks ago.
Yeah. I feel about as sad as my cat looks right now.
Well, that's fine. She always looks sad. But anyway, we're starting this one off big. There's a lot to cover in this. We know that we're going to have a bunch of people here in the chat who want to have things to say as well. And I'll probably reiterate this a little bit later. But the best place to say anything is going to be up there at the streamlabs.com/cinefanatics. That's where we're going to see absolutely everything that you have to say coming through. So you want to put it right through there. And on top of that, you know how live videos work. You want to hit that live. You want to make sure you're subscribed. All that fun stuff that you do on the YouTube. And let's all have some fun in the chat and talk and try not to lose our ever-loving minds over what happened in this episode. Good Lord.
Did you hear that, Lola? Scared the crap out of her. Don't lose your ever-loving mind over what happened in this episode. She's like, what?
she loses her ever-loving mind over the smallest things.
I am trying to lick my butt. Do you mind?
It's my normal butt lick on the stream that I usually do.
It's butt lick o'clock according to the watch on my paw.
Couldn't do it before. We had so much time before we went live. Couldn't do it then. Okay, let's go. Let's do it live. All right. First of all, off the top, how do we feel about this episode?
Oh my God. This is the episode. This is the episode that I've been waiting for this show to get to. Like, everything has been a build up to episode 4. Episode 4 is the peak of this show, and I have no idea how they're going to come down off of this peak. I believe it's one of those where it's a giant mountain peak, and the other side of the mountain is just flat. It's like the Cliffs of Insanity in Princess Bride. The only way to get up it is to climb a rope with you being strapped to Fezzik's back. It's like that. Like the rest of this is just going to be a complete drop off, and you're going to be free falling and screaming all the way down with the wind and stuff pulling your face. Ah! Or something like that. That looked like Hellraiser with the Jesus wept. But anyways. If y'all know horror movies, y'all get that reference.
You lost me somewhere.
Was that the description you were looking for?
You lost me somewhere. I think you liked this episode. I really can't tell. So yeah, here's the thing. If I had time today to do that, I would have actually watched this episode another few times because there's definitely some stuff. I'll probably end up rewatching it again tonight, honestly, when we're done with the stream. Just to be fair.
I will give full disclosure and kudos to Rachel watching it 3 times. We're short-handed at work, so I'm working like 12-hour days right now. I had a chance to watch it once during my 1-hour lunch break, and such a good episode. That was the best time I've ever had at work, and that's not hard to say because I'm at work.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, we're going to break down a whole bunch here. I got some anchor points to go through. If you guys have anything you want to specifically talk about that you want to bring up, thoughts that you had on specific scenes, again, Streamlabs is a good place, but go ahead and drop them in the chat as well. And that way we can hit those as we move along through here, because we're going to try to make this one a little bit of a shorter show tonight, but well, you know how we do. We'll see if that works out.
We are long-winded.
We can be long-winded. In fact, it's surprising it's taken us 5 minutes to get through all this intro part.
On the dot, too. Good job. Kudos.
Yeah.
You're like, I can see the clock, too.
Yes. I rounded. Anyway.
The people at work know what I do for an actual living. Yes.
Yeah, and actually Rachel brings it up. This is where we're going to start. We're going to start with The opening, it was a tearjerker. Sebastian Stan brought so much emotion and effortlessly showed how important his connection to Wakanda is. I forgot to mention, I really loved this episode. I don't think I said that just now.
Yes.
Yeah. But that will be made clear as I break this down. Yes. So we have that opening. Boom. Once again, the images kind of wonky. Deal with it.
It's a good looking image.
What a great image. So
I've seen better.
Anyway, this gag's running low.
This is a dumb joke.
So yeah, we see us dancing around Bucky's sad face. We see how big of an emotional thing it is for him to process getting through being the Winter Soldier, and it was really cool to see Io. Her name's Io, not Ao. Learned that in this episode. No, Io. Anyway, you see how pivotal she was as a help to him, and I love that. I love that we give her character something like really deep to do besides just being one of Black Panther's royal guards. She actually has a pivotal role in another character's life. She actually does something, besides just being a guard. It's really cool. It's really cool to see her have more to do, essentially.
Yeah.
So, that was really good. I wanted to capture, yes, Rachel, that's the image I got. I wanted to capture the emotion on Bucky's face because it was incredible to see just how big of a performance Sebastian Stan was able to pull out. I mean, you don't see him doing that too much in the movies themselves. So to see him kind of just utterly break down in this episode goes to show you why this show is so good. I mean, it started off on that note, and I was like, "Ooh, all right, I really love this show." But it was a good character beat, good culmination of the Winter Soldier aspect of Bucky's life, essentially.
The thing I liked about this opening scene is, I guess this is kind of like something that you could see in any form of entertainment, whether it's you're watching a movie, TV show, reading a book. When you imbibe those things, you only get the context, both words, of what they hand to you in those. And that's what you go with. That's what you have to watch. That's what you enjoy. You don't think that, like, hey, possibly something that was not given to me previously could be something just as awesome to watch. Like when you saw, like we saw the clips of what was that at the end of Civil War with Bucky being given to the Wakandans to help fix him. And then we saw the clip of Bucky now awake. He's no longer in suspended animation in Wakanda, and he's working on a farm, seemingly in Wakanda, being called the White Wolf. At no point do you think, "Hey, I actually want to see that moment where those words no longer affect him." It doesn't enter your mind. You weren't shown that. You weren't told that. You don't think anything of it. You're like, "Oh, he must be fine. He must be healed. Moving on." This actually showed it to you. And man, was that such a good scene. That was one of two scenes, I would say. Okay, three scenes in this entire episode that I was like, wow. Like I was just blown away by the fact that scene was in this. It's just amazing.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. And as we move off of this particular part, I just want to say, like, you're right. When I go back and watch Civil War, when I watched Civil War initially the first time, and he was kind of being put on ice again, sort of being put into that suspended animation, I thought, okay, cool. He's just going to go in suspended animation. They're going to do some kind of tech stuff and just kind of cleanse out his mind. He's going to wake up and be good to go. And then we got what was it? Was it the post credit for Black Panther? Or wherever it was where you actually see him in Wakanda.
Oh yeah, and where T'Challa's saying that it's time to awaken the White Wolf.
Oh yeah, maybe that. Yeah.
That is Black Panther. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the post credits or something. Either way, you see him out and you're like, oh, I didn't think for a second that he would actually just be living in Wakanda. I thought he was just going to be in that suspended animation. And then, like you were saying, we go a step further and we actually see part of the process as to him getting cleansed. And it wasn't let's just clean out his brain while he's in suspended animation. It's an actual like painful journey he had to go through. So it was really cool getting that character beat for him right at the beginning there. Going on through, speaking of character beats, we talk about one of the characters in this show that I think is having a ton of like really fun, really interesting character beats is Zemo. He is he's sitting there talking about. I mean, here's the thing. He lives by a certain set of rules and stuff. He knows very firmly what he believes and what he thinks. And I love his explanation as to what the super soldier serum can do to people.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love is the part where they're saying, yeah, but it didn't do that to Steve. And he goes, well, he's basically going, okay, well, Steve was the exception. He's literally saying like Captain America is the exception to his rule, essentially. Yeah. And to have this big Captain America bad guy essentially give that credit to Steve Rogers, I was like, that's really cool. That's a really cool moment. And it's like even his enemies respect him.
Yeah. The thing I want to interject with Zemo as we're bringing him up is with this episode, I fully believe this show should not be the Falcon and Winter Soldier. This is the Zemo show. Like, this is all about Baron Helmet Zemo. Like, this is his show. He is what I'm entertained probably the most. I really don't care, honestly, what happens to Falcon or Winter Soldier. I'm just watching it for Zemo at this point. Like, Zemo is the most interesting thing on that screen throughout, like, even this episode. Like, last episode, we got this thing going on, but this episode, whew, man. Like, what he's doing, what he's planning and scheming, it's so good. It's absolutely amazing.
By the way, how good is it that we got a full complete scene to this?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That happened this week, too. It's like Marvel and Disney heard what the fans are wanting, and they gave it to us.
Low. Yeah. This, I didn't realize there was a full scene to that. I didn't realize that there was a whole lot more than what we got there. And then they released the video. I was like, oh, this is like giving me candy or giving me a Christmas present or something. This is joyous.
The editor in me wants to take that scene, and all I want to do is set it to every like cliched 90s like club dance song. Like, we could go straight Night at the Roxbury. What is love? Oh, baby, don't hurt me. Like, I want to straight up do that type of thing. Just
run away.
Run away. Like every 90s, like almost techno-ish. Everybody dance now. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, like that kind of thing. I want to do that with like all of these.
Oh man, there's so much fun to be had there. I'm so glad that they did that. Yeah. Anyway, talking about Zemo giving respect to Steve, I think that I brought it up last week because they started showing it a little bit last week, and they're showing it big time this week. It's a big, I think, running theme into this episode is that there's a juxtaposition of how Steve was Captain America versus how John Walker is Captain America. Mm-hmm. And you see Zemo explaining that the super soldier serum is going to do this stuff to these people. And as of right now, obviously, you know, we can only hold the flag smashers up to that so far because we don't know what else they're planning on doing or whatever else Carly's planning on doing. But we do have John Walker here, who we had a good feeling that at some point was going to end up getting the super soldier serum because U.S. Agent in the comics has it. So it was nice.
I hate U.S. Agent. God.
We should really note the character is screw this guy. Like literally screw this guy. I'm just trying to figure out the family-friendly way of saying this.
That works. We'll probably
screw
say it
this guy.
again at the end of this episode.
But I also like, I put this on Twitter. I hate that I have to caveat this by saying this. We're not talking about Wyatt Russell. He's doing a fantastic job with the character. He's doing a stellar job with the character. He is not the character. We're talking about the character. Stop threatening Wyatt Russell, you absolute idiots out there. Good Lord.
Here's the thing. Here's the counter that I will attest to that, though, is if you are playing a character so well that you yourself, the actor, are getting like the threats in real life, you're just doing a really good job playing that character. Everyone hates you, man. That's good kudos. You're doing a great job. I hate his character.
Exactly. Rachel brings up a good point because we'll touch on a bunch of these as we go through here. Carly, Walker, Bucky, and Sam were compared against Steve. This episode was a love letter to Rogers. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's an underlying theme to this entire series. There's multiple themes. I think this is one of them. There is. Can we threaten to give him more roles, please?
We can, or I would actually recommend people go watch the movie Overlord. If you like zombie horror movies that involves Nazis, go watch Overlord. He does fantastic in that.
Is that a popular subgenre?
I mean, almost. Between that and Dead Snow, yeah, kind of.
Zombie Nazi movies is like a popular genre all by itself, huh?
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't care for horror, so therefore, there you go. I did hear that he's fantastic in it, and that if you do like those movies, it's a really good movie to see. So, anyway, I like what Zemo's saying here with the juxtaposition between all these characters. I do also like, we know Zemo's the bad guy. We know that he's going to be thinking ahead of everybody at every given moment. He's not just going along for a ride, sitting in the passenger seat going, where are we going? This is going to be Ducky. He's got plans of his own, and he's waiting for the moment to enact them.
I clicked on it too.
This is the moment we start seeing him enact some of those plans. He's giving candy to a child.
It's Turkish delight. It's amazing. It's really good.
It's delightful.
It's also what the White Witch gives the kids in Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe.
Movie trivia. Anyway,
that was really weird. If you take the image off while our heads are still like this.
Yeah. So I love this because you see him going, okay, those men over there, you see them, they're bad. Don't trust them. It's like, okay, there's the Zemo that we need to know. Yeah, he's still in there. He's scheming. He's planning things. And we kind of see him beginning that right there as he's holding for ransom the information on where Donya's funeral is being held as leverage, essentially.
Yeah.
And then, of course, wow,
these
came out really tiny.
Friggin' guys again.
These friggin' guys. These two friggin' guys. One of them more than the other one.
Yeah, I would say I actually don't mind Battlestar too much. He's been pretty decent. It's the other friggin' guy.
The other friggin' guy, which we'll talk about him. I predicted before, as we were getting to know Walker, as we were getting into this series, that he was just going to be just a nuisance. He was just going to be butting heads with Sam and Bucky and kind of getting in their way, and it was going to be troublesome for them. They're going to be like, oh, Walker, what are you doing here again? Oh, would you get out of our way? We're trying to do things. This show went, okay. Yes, but no. And gave us a whole lot of good character stuff with John Walker. There more to touch on here in a second. Not sure if I even had my notes all like lined out correctly, but
it looks good.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Flag Smashers though, because obviously they're kind of the threat in this series, so to speak.
Oh, they were until like this episode, really.
Yeah,
kind of.
We're getting more and more details as to kind of what their operation looks like, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. And I really, really liked the insight we got into them in this episode.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll break down this whole section because honestly, this bleeds into this conversation between Carly and Sam too. But they made it clear that they aren't actually what we initially thought. What the information we were initially presented, they aren't actually trying to reduce the Earth back to half population again, like it was during the 5-year snap period. We initially thought like, oh, they're trying to get out here and they're trying to kill half the population again. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's not good. We don't like them. They're bad. Oh, no. What's actually happening is you hear Carly talking with the other flag smashers. The world during that 5-year period understood that there's this big scary alien guy out there, and in order for us to survive any further beyond what he's already done, we have to put all of our differences aside and we have to work together. We have to hold each other up, and we have to, treat each other with kindness and respect and help each other in everything that the world doesn't do already, essentially.
This sounds like a nice parallel to last year. Hey, we're all affected by this pandemic. There's racial inequality everywhere. We're all in this together. It's time for all of us to act together as one. Nice little parallel there. I kind of like it.
Yeah, if only we did that.
Sort of. It, yeah, kind of.
Dang it. Kill my point. Anyway. What they're trying to fight for, though, is that we get back to that mindset, because once everybody came back, the world went back to the way it was before. Hate, not helping each other, whatever, people being pushed out into the streets. And that's kind of her whole fight, is because all the displaced individuals, they're not refugees, they are displaced individuals. They were left displaced because of the widespread panic, coming in. So it was interesting to me to kind of hear it more in depth that they aren't actually trying to do that. What their fight is actually a good fight. They're actually saying, hey, let's actually get back to what it was in terms of how we all acted and reacted to each other during that 5-year period. And that leads into this conversation with Sam. I loved this scene, this breakdown, this conversation between Sam and Carly.
Yeah.
This is not the type of scene that you ever expect to actually get in your big high octane action show. It is a fantastic study into who these individual characters are and how they can relate, and then how they relate to what's going on individually. There was just so much going on in this scene. I could have just watched almost an entire episode of these two talking, to be fair.
Yeah. I liked it because it's what it's kind of what you would expect if you were the person in this situation. Like, at some point, if you were Sam, you're like, can we just sit down and talk? I don't need to be coming at you like I'm trying to reel you in, and you don't need to be coming at me like I'm trying to destroy you. You're a person of a sensible mind. I'm a person of a sensible mind. Let's just sit down and talk this out. That's what I would expect to happen in real life. And I love that they did that in this show.
And just in that conversation alone, you see, first of all, the thing I love is let's go back to Sam brought it up. Let's go back to his appearance in Winter Soldier. When we first met him, he was counseling veterans who were going through PTSD, going through all sorts of nastiness that you gain while out on the field in combat and all that. And he was counseling them and kind of helping them through that. He utilized those same gifts that he had to do that in this conversation with Carly, and was kind of breaking down the thoughts that she had and kind of showing her, okay, but look at it from this perspective. Think about what your actions look like from this angle. And it was really kind of catching her off guard. And you really saw that she was starting to actually begin to think about how they went about achieving their goals. And this scene, I believe 100% is the pivotal scene in this series right off the bat that shows us why Falcon was, one, trusted by Steve, and two, is absolutely the right guy to be carrying the shield now.
Yeah.
That was a pure Captain America move that he did there.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that he's got the heart of Captain America. It shows his actions reflect that of Captain America. That's what that scene did. And which is interesting because I wonder if you could see him counseling, say, Walker or Isaiah Bradley in the future. I bring up Isaiah Bradley because I want to say that we see him again at some point.
Hopefully. The thing that I'll bring up, I don't see it in your notes.
This is the scene, by the way.
Yeah. And I like that. That was a good shot that you grabbed for that. With him with his back to her. When you do that, like psychologically wise in having a conversation, when you're doing something like that where you have the back to the person, you're letting your guard down. You're proving to them that you're not a threat. You don't perceive them to be a threat. That helps with that. And again, going back to the fact that he's used to counseling people with PTSD, people who are used to seeing people coming at them when talking to them. I'm willing to bet, first of all, the writers are incredibly genius for doing it that way. Second of all, the character of Sam, as written, knew that as well, and that's why that's why his body language was that way when talking to Carly. It's great for those of y'all who like pick up on small little cues like that. I loved it. The thing that I don't see in here is that Walker and Battlestar Lamar were talking about how like Walker has like three like Medal of Honor badges, and he's like, at one point they say something like he's got 3 badges to remove, like one's like it doesn't help me forget one major sin or one major thing that he did. So definitely Walker at this point has been presented as almost like a Boy Scout type character, but man, he's got a dark past, and we see it just with the words, what they're talking about there. And then of course we're going to see it again at the end, but yeah,
he's got a little bit of red in his ledger, it seems.
And on his shield.
Yeah. That was rough. To bring this up again, like, yeah, you make a good point that his back is facing her. That's a sign of vulnerability. It's showing like, hey, I'm going to believe that I can trust you here. And in me showing you trust, that means that you can trust me.
That's it. Forget the worst day of my life. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a big deal because you saw the scene before that as he's walking through the building, and you're seeing the teacher with the students, you're seeing all these other people kind of walk out of the room whenever he walks in. He's like, I'm looking for Danya, and everyone's walking out. We can't trust you is the theme of him walking through there. It's nice to see him kind of like pick up on that cue and go, okay, I'm going to show you that you can trust me by letting my guard down essentially around you. So I thought that was really cool. And then this friggin' guy.
This friggin' guy.
I don't like this guy.
This guy.
That friggin' guy.
What a friggin' guy. Anyways.
He's got to be impatient. He's got to rush in there, have control of the situation. I don't like any of this. I'm going to do it my way. We're just going to get it done now. And you see just the absolute mayhem that causes. It breaks the trust that Carly has with Sam. And it ruins the entire thing. Like, Sam had it on lock. And John Walker, I'm not calling him Captain America. He doesn't deserve to be called Captain America. John
US
Walker,
agent.
He's not even going by that yet. And technically, U.S. agent's a good guy, and he hasn't earned that moniker yet either.
Super Patriot.
Essentially, yeah. Right now, he's Super Patriot. Walker's on in there and ruins everything.
Walker's on in there.
I was hoping that one would play. And you kind of see, I think he partly gets his butt handed to him here. But on top of that, you see him kind of look at the super soldiers and go, man, if I had that. You see him start playing with the mentality of, if I had that, if I was able to do that, then you have what it all leads to, which is that scene where he finds the one lone vial of serum.
What I like in this is that a lot of this episode you've heard from multiple sources, everyone's opinion about the super soldier. Zemo was talking about the super soldiers, how they all may be was it supremacists? Something like that. And then they asked Sam, or Zemo asked Sam, I believe, if you had the opportunity, would you take it? And Sam's like, no, like without hesitation. He's just, nope, not taking it. And then like you've got all this conversation about it so far, and then it got to Walker finding that vial. And of course, you know what he's gonna do, because that friggin' guy.
So yeah, that was interesting, because you see Zemo once again coming in here. He shoots Carly. Luckily, in this case, not fatal. And then you see him pick up the serum, and we're wondering, like, is Zemo gonna take the serum? That would be interesting. But then you see him smash him, because of course he's not. You hear what he says about super soldiers. He believes that to a T, and he destroys them.
Yeah.
But then you see John Walker on the flip side. He wants that power. He wants that strength. You see him grab that serum, tuck it away for a later date. And then, of course, like, you have the conversation between Zemo and Sam back at the compound, wherever they're at, and Zemo asks Sam this question: would you take the serum if given the chance? To which Sam, absolutely, really quickly, nope, wouldn't do it. And Zemo was like, oh, that was very quick, very, very sudden there. And it's like, Sam realizes that I don't need the serum in order to be the hero that Steve was. It's not necessary. Steve was a good man. That's why he was chosen for the experiment anyway. You just have to be that good man, essentially.
Yeah.
And then we move on to the Dora Milaje coming in and going, hey, guess what? We gave you 8 hours. Time's up. Give us Zemo. Time to take him back. And that whole scene I thought was a ton of fun, because there's a lot of like, oh no, these guys are about to feel the wrath of the Dora Milaje. But at the same time, you have the whole juxtaposition of John Walker trying to fight them off, essentially trying to introduce him first. I'm Captain America, which seems to be what he does all the time. He's always introducing himself as Captain America. Steve always told people his name was Steve. So yeah, another duality there between the two of them. But then you see him trying to like fight off the Dora Milaje, and
you don't have jurisdiction here. The Dora Milaje has jurisdiction everywhere the Dora Milaje is at. I was like, that's a good line.
Yep. And then they sit in there fighting, and Bucky's like, looking strong, John.
Yeah, that was so good.
I love it. I love Bucky in this episode so much, because he's kind of sassy, and I'm here for sassy Bucky.
That was like probably my favorite scene of this entire episode was the fight with the Dora Milaje in there.
Yeah, and actually that reminds me back of the other funny one was when Zemo was talking about the Avenger, or like you see the Nazis and the Avengers, and Sam's like, those are our friends, and Bucky's like, the Avengers, not the Nazis.
Yeah, that was good too.
That was hilarious. But yeah, and then of course in this scene, Zemo escapes, which we knew was going to happen at some point. At some point, he was going to slink away and disappear. And that was, we knew it was about to happen. I felt like it was going to happen in this episode. There were 2 more episodes left. He's got to make a run for it. If he's going to have any more presence in this show, it's going to be within the last 2 episodes. Or we're going to see him probably at the end of one of these episodes, setting him up in the future to be either leading the Thunderbolts or planning and scheming some kind of big villain theme that'll probably be used in a Captain America 4 featuring Falcon. So
possibly.
So I think that's what we see there.
I want to go back. I want to touch upon real quick what Kamlesh is saying in the chat. I saw goldish yellow color in the eyes of Hoskins as soon as he gets free from his Flag Smashers. I just looked at that, and yeah, there is like some gold, and I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it's kind of weird and like off-putting that it pops up all of a sudden. And this is obviously before Carly attacks him, but yeah, when he gets up and he's like dusting himself off, he turns his head and like the side of his eye just turns like a bright gold. I'm not exactly sure what that could mean.
Was that like an out of the ordinary type of thing, or
it kind of looked like it? Yeah,
because I know in situations like that, you might be looking at like, what does lighting look like for that scene and all that.
No, it wasn't a lighting thing. It really did look like it was just something mystical to his eye. I'm not sure. Kamlesh, if you know, feel free to drop it in the chat. But yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Interesting. He says 43.
Yeah, go ahead and continue on with what you've got.
Yeah. Oh, I don't see anything. Just look like his eye was
continue on with what you got.
I got it. Yeah. You're good. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so the next thing we're kind of like turning away and going into a different direction is we still have Sharon. Sharon is still kind of playing it almost seems like she's playing a man in the chair type of situation here now. And she's got apparently access to satellites. For somebody who's on the run, it's really weird for her to have access to satellites, essentially, unless she's working for somebody or is somebody of prominence. And I think we talk about what happened in last episode when she was leaving the shipping container yard and everything.
Yeah,
she was like, "We got someone. Yeah, we've got a problem. We got maybe a few problems. I'll fill you in as we go." She seems to be working with somebody, or people are working for her. The question on the table is, there's this person out there called the Power Broker. In the comics, the Power Broker is a supervillain guy, some dude. I don't know a whole lot about the Power Broker. I haven't done a whole lot of studying up on who the Power Broker is. I just know that he's a villain.
Even I don't know that much about the Power Broker, so
yeah. In this show, we have not yet seen the Power Broker. This person's only been a looming threat, and we've assumed, based on the comics, that this individual was a man. I don't believe there's been anything in the show yet to give way that we should be assuming that this individual is a man within the show. And there could be a chance that, because we're talking about an individual who is a looming mysterious individual, and that we're 4 episodes into the show now, and in order for this reveal of who this person is to have any kind of an impact, this person almost needs to be somebody we've already been introduced to in some capacity.
Yeah.
And so I believe that there's 2 possibilities here. The first, a little less likely, being that he's Mephisto, and played by Mark Hamill. The second, and probably more likely at this point, is that Sharon Carter might actually be the power broker herself. And what we know about the power broker has been misguided information, and that she isn't actually trying to be bad with anything. She's trying to be good.
That's what I was wondering while watching this as well, is if she could be the one controlling everything. I think it's a heavy possibility. So
I think maybe she refunded Nagel's experimentation with the serums in order to, maybe have more Steve Rogers in the world, maybe to have more Captain Americas in the world, because she knew that he was good, but since everything went down, she had lost her way, lost her thought pattern and everything on Heroes and all that.
Yep. And
so she was funding it. The threat that Carly got from the power broker, "I will end you," isn't "I will kill you."
Mm-hmm.
You can write your way out of that and still keep Sharon Carter good. So there's an interesting thing going on here. I think there's a possibility that we're looking at Sharon Carter maybe as the power broker.
I will preface this that apparently there was a rumor that I saw on the internet that the very next episode, there is a character from the Marvel Comics who has not been seen yet, played by a famous actor that we didn't know was going to be in the show. So it could be, for all intents and purposes, the power broker, who we are aware of as a character within this show. We just haven't seen him, played by someone that we had no idea was going to be in the show. So I expect the power broker to be like Dick Van Dyke or whatever.
Again, Mark Hamill's not off the table.
No, but the internet would go crazy if they saw that. So
it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But
so how's Battlestar doing?
Well, real quick.
Oh yeah, go back to this. Yeah.
Apparently, Kalmesh thinks that he is a Skrull. That's an interesting theory.
Battlestar is a Skrull?
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. I mean, that Skrulls got to start popping up in some places. I don't necessarily know if you see one pop up in this show. Maybe Walker's a Skrull. Who knows?
Given what we're about to talk about with Battlestar, I highly doubt it because he's pretty much gone bye-bye. So,
well, we assume.
Yeah.
So, yeah, apparently Battlestar gets killed here. And I believe it was Carly who kicks him across the room, slams him into a pole, and donezo.
Yeah, because he's already taken the super soldier serum.
Yeah. And then if you get kicked by a super soldier as a normal person, you're at least very broken, if not dead.
Well, I think it was he was probably broken, and it was the slam up against the pole that really did him in.
100%. Yeah, you don't slam up against concrete and survive. But yeah, this now being the inciting incident for Walker to just lose his absolute mind. That was his childhood friend.
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Were they childhood friends? They were at least friends in the military.
They were at least really close military friends. Yeah.
Yeah, they were really good buddies. They were best friends. So this is going to give him the reasoning to lose his mind, essentially, which mixed with whatever's already going on up inside his head, mixed with now he's got super soldier serum. Let me refer you guys back to something. They were working on a super soldier serum back in Incredible Hulk, and it was given to Emil Blonsky, who already had some crazy stuff going on, inside of his head. Mm-hmm. And you saw how kind of insane and crazy he went before fully turning into Abomination. I think you're seeing kind of the same effects happen here with John Walker. Now, granted, he's not going to turn into an Abomination because he's not going to get the Hulk blood and everything infused and all that nonsense. But you're seeing the ill effects of super soldier serum in somebody who probably should not be having that kind of power,
which is what Zemo was talking about earlier.
Exactly. And so when you take that volatile mix and you put it up against okay, now you just lost somebody very close to you. All hell breaks loose.
This friggin' guy.
Rachel brings up an excellent quote from Erskine. Good becomes better, bad becomes worse. The super soldier serum enhances what is already in there, which is, again, why Steve was chosen, because he is a good man.
Mm-hmm.
So, now, I mentioned that. We mentioned this because this is what sets off Walker here. But what's interesting is that we got a super chat from Cutter Hale real quick.
Hey,
he said, hey guys, congrats on the epic win Tuesday, Robert. You killed it. This episode blew my mind. It was super crazy. The end of the episode was tough to watch. Yeah. And all I can say was, wow, best episode so far.
I absolutely agree.
100%. Those of y'all who don't know what Cutter's referring to here, he is referring to Robert's game in the first class league of the Movie Trivia Schmodown, which is on Twitch. There it is.
Yep.
And spoilers, he wins. So that's something that you can check out. We'll talk about that, mention it more briefly towards the end of the stream here and everything. But yeah, so we're getting to the end of the episode here, by the way. Again, if you guys have any other comments, anything else you want to put in, we got Streamlabs, we got the chat over there. Go ahead and drop anything else you want to talk about in those two places. I want to bring up what happens at the end here. The one flag smasher that John Walker goes chasing after, not the one who killed Battlestar, mind you.
Yeah.
Shut up, Rachel.
We're trying.
There's a lot to talk about in this episode. Anyway, the one flag smasher that he goes chasing after is the one we see earlier. I do have an image of that here. It is right. Well, I did have an image.
No, you don't have an image of him.
I don't have an image. I thought I got an image, but I guess I didn't add it into her. No problem. Anyway, he is talking to Carly earlier about how when he was younger, a little bit younger, he was looking up to Captain America. Captain America was like a hero to him, which I thought was like really interesting that you get that perspective from these flag smashers, that you see that, okay, maybe they have the right mindset. And as Sam said, I love your fight. I don't love how you are doing the fight, how you are fighting the fight. And so you see kind of they have a respect for somebody like Captain America. But the problem is that this is a different Captain America now. And he goes chasing after this guy, just in an absolute mindless rage, and then kicks him down to the ground and starts wailing on him, essentially, which is allowing time for everybody else surrounding him to pull out their phones and start recording what's happening. And you hear him screaming.
Good.
Yeah. We're talking about a horrible PR nightmare happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear him screaming, it wasn't me. I wasn't the one who did it. It wasn't the one who did it. And that nothing's getting through. Nothing's getting through Walker's head. Shield up. Blam, multiple times down on the guy. And that leads us to our final shot.
This freaking guy.
First of all, this shot is insanely scary.
I liked the build up to this shot. Like it's him like looking off to the side. You see like he's just like got this dead glare in his eyes, and you can just see he's looking, he's dwelling, he's thinking. You see it all build up, and then he just cuts loose on him.
Yeah. And yeah, that's exactly. Oh, where is it? There we go. He idolized the shield as a kid and got killed by it. It's brutal. Mm-hmm. That is horrifying. And again, it goes to show you that this is not the man who should be holding that shield. And if I were to hazard a guess, if I were a betting man, I would say he's not holding the shield for much longer.
He probably won't be holding that shield probably by the beginning of the very next episode. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah. So there's a couple things I see this. Who's going to take the shield from him? Is it going to be Falcon and Bucky? Sam and Bucky are going to take the shield from him, or is the GRC going to take the shield from him and be like, okay, PR nightmare, we got to figure this one out. We can kind of spin it. We can spin it, but you no longer no more Captain America for you. No.
I'm going to go ahead and call it right now that the next episode is going to begin exactly where this one left off, with everyone gasping, and then you'll probably have Sam and Bucky come running in. They're like, "The hell are you doing?" And they subdue him. Sam takes the shield, and that's how Sam gets the shield. There might be some kind of like a cut, something or another, where the GRC is like, "Well, if you would like to give us back the shield," and he's like, "Nope, I'm keeping it this time. I gave it to y'all essentially once, and y'all done effed it up. This is mine now."
I think we absolutely see like the found footage, essentially the footage from everyone's cell phones and everything being played somewhere across news stations, internet, somewhere, and you start seeing like what the general response from the world is of what he did, and that will kind of lead into a lot of things. Here's the thing. I called this up top. By the end of this, he's gonna end up being a good guy. It is hard to spin that around, but I think what's going to happen is that he is going to drop the Captain America moniker, whether by force or by choice. And he will then go on a let's make amends tour, kind of like Bucky is doing. And he'll undergo the name U.S. Agent. He won't essentially be an Avenger. He's got the super soldier serum. It's not going to be taken from him. He will... he'll be present probably later in a Captain America movie or something, and it'll be making amends for his character essentially. Or here's the other thought: Zemo kills him.
I mean, at that point though, that's just gonna make us all really like Zemo a lot more. So
Maybe, but I don't necessarily know. It depends on how they write it, honestly. Either way, we're about to see some interesting stuff go down the series. What I love about the series so far, and especially in this episode, is there's so many threads going in so many different directions, but you can tell that the writers and everyone in control have control over every single one of those threads. Nothing is getting out of their grasp. Things are introduced specifically and intentionally, and they will be wrapped up in specific intentional ways. And I love it. You got Zemo's story. You've got the Dora Milaje going after Zemo. You've got John Walker and his story. You've got, what's going on with the GRC and the Flag Smashers. Who is this power broker? Sharon is... I thought that was wrong. Sharon is running around doing something. You've got Sam's individual story. You've got Bucky's individual story. You've got what was going on with Isaiah Bradley and the whole history of the super soldier serum. There's just so much happening in this show, and I love how in control of everything that they are.
Yeah.
There is one other thing I wanted to note before we were wrapping up, and that was the call that Carly made to Sarah, Sam's sister.
Oh, yeah.
And initially it sounds like a threat, but she's essentially looking for Captain America, and Sarah's response was huge. This country doesn't care about me, so why should I care about its mascot? And what I love about this is that, first of all, amidst all the action, amidst all the intrigue we get from these characters, there is one through thread that's happening throughout each episode, and it is essentially speaking to us on these racial issues, these very important racial issues. And you bring up Sarah back into it to kind of do the look. This is what's going down in my country, in my world, and they don't care about me. They have not shown to care about me. I've been trying to get a loan. I've been trying to do this. I'm trying to live my life like I should be able to. And the country doesn't care about me. So why should I care about this pretty boy, white bread person that they're throwing up as their mascot? And then Kali's like, I like you. You got the right mindset.
Yeah.
You're thinking the same way we're thinking, essentially. And
I don't think she actually wanted to threaten her at all. She just was just reaching for hope. And I love that phone call.
Yeah. I wanted to mention that just because that was a very important thing. And you see that the individuals in the writer's room have personal experiences close to home for a lot of these issues and situations that are brought up in the show. You can tell. Yeah. And it is excellent. There's been excellent writing on this show so far. So anyway, guys, what else do you have? You have anything else you want to talk about? Let us see it in the chat. Otherwise, we are going to start wrapping up here. We tried to keep it shorter. We're hitting about our same mark as usual. So, go figure.
So let's wrap this up then.
So let's wrap it up.
Yeah, y'all got questions, drop them in real quick because we are wrapping this up. So the first thing I want to plug real quick is, of course, I was in the Movie Trivia Schmodown First Class League this past Tuesday. It is my match was where'd it go? Yeah. So my match this past Tuesday was a lot of fun. If you want to watch it, it's on twitch.tv/the Schmodown. And it will be on YouTube on the Schmodown Extras channel within like another week and a half, roughly. So make sure y'all go check it out. It was a lot of fun to play. I had a blast with it. I will coordinate that with Patreon, patreon.com/cinefanatics. We have a lot of tiers, a lot of good stuff on there, stuff that we will be announcing coming soon. But one thing that we can talk about is tomorrow night, probably around like the 9 Central, so 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. We will be bringing back what we were known for at one point, was the Schmodown replay. For our patrons, tomorrow night, we will be doing the FCL replay. This might look familiar. We're basically going to watch my match. I'm going to give y'all some insight on what I thought, what was going through my head, what exactly I was doing when all you saw me on the camera was basically just sitting there staring at it like, what exactly was going through here, because there were a lot of things, and y'all are going to love some of the stuff that I was dealing with while playing that. So,
and that's a lot. And that's a lot of things that you haven't already shared on like other after shows and stuff. Who've already reached out to you too.
No, I've done some after shows. I'm going to be on an after show that will be tomorrow on the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmodown YouTube channel. You can find me with the interview there for the gold standard. That was a lot of fun. You hear me talk about food as well. And anyone who knows me knows I'll talk about food forever. So great interview over there. I had a blast doing it. But yeah, hop on our Patreon. I'm not sure. Like I kind of want to do something. No, because then you'll just be plastered. I kind of want to do something special with this first one, so just keep an eye on social media because I got to talk to him as soon as this is over about what I want to do. But keep an eye on social media. Go hop on the Patreon. Even at the $1, you'll have access to our Discord, so you'll be able to see some of the conversations we have behind the scenes. A lot of good benefits over there, so check that out. It would help us out immensely.
The huge thing is all that stuff, I believe, is at that Maverick tier for all that.
This is part of what I want to talk to you about as soon as this is over. So yes, okay. Just hop on the Patreon and watch us on Twitter. I'll clarify probably later tonight.
Yeah, we'll share it on social media where you can get access to everything that we're going to do on the Patreon. So
You can follow us on social media at Twitter, on Twitter and Instagram at CineFanaticsMLP. We're also at Robert Adams MLP, Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. So a lot of good stuff there. Do we have any more questions before we wrap this up?
Coach says it's not about the show, but have y'all seen that Bob Odenkirk movie?
I want to see Nobody. I've heard Nobody was so good.
There you go.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch this.
Middle class John Wick. It looks fantastic. Actually, it looks really fun.
Yeah. My downside is I'm working like 12-hour shifts right now, and for the time being, we won't be able to get to like really any ranking videos, or it's pretty much tagline and this and a few other things here and there. So that's where we're at right now.
Especially with FCL happening and everything too. So we'll definitely check it out when we get the chance. But anyway, a lot of fun stuff, guys. Check out the Patreon. Hop on there, whatever tier. If you get on at least the dollar tier, you get the Discord. That's a ton of fun. Again, for those of you who don't know, we do the movie trivia nights there. We do watch-alongs. We're doing all sorts of stuff that we're trying to gear up over there on the Patreon. So we like to think it's worth it, but we do trust our patrons to let us know if at some point something doesn't seem worth it. So anyway, doing all sorts of other stuff. You mentioned the tagline, right? So we do that Tuesday nights at 9:30 Central Time. So
that is our flagship show. That is us like sit back, relax, kind of hanging out and talking some movie news. If you got questions, you just want to get to know us personally, that's where you do it at. So anyways, no other questions. Paying steady work over reaction videos were your priorities. I mean, it's to my fans, y'all. It's just to the fans. I gotta
keep that roof over the head. Anyway.
And come join the Patreon. It's worth it, folks. Thank you, Rachel. And 14 Little Angel, nice to see you here tonight. So that's gonna wrap it up for tonight. Thank y'all for being here. I completely agree.
Understandable.
Completely. I completely empathize with that statement.
Yep.
But that's going to do it for tonight. Thank y'all for watching this. Thank y'all for being here. If you catch it on a replay, let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Otherwise, make sure you like the video. Make sure you shared this video. We got into a lot of good insights. So if you hadn't seen this whole episode, go back and watch it. There's a lot of good things that we talked about because this episode was phenomenal. Loved this episode. So make sure you share it. And of course, hit that subscribe button because that's what we want you to do. That's what YouTube wants you to do. And, it's worked pretty good for a lot of people so far. Anyways, so make sure y'all do all of that. Yeah, I know. I figured y'all figure out where that reference was coming from.
Next one.
That's the way I did it. That's the way my dad did it. And it's turned out pretty good so far. Anyways, so as for my brother, as for myself, thank y'all for watching. We will see y'all later, and good night. It's a good
It doesn't matter. I'm not in the military.
I was. Anyways.
Seriously, that friggin' guy, though.